name is Francesco. Actually, my first name is Eduardo. My middle name is Francesco, but my friends call me Francesco. I don't know why my parents gave me those two both names, and they started calling me by my middle name. And that's a little weird, but my friends call me Francesco. So I mean, I know that my legal first name is Eduardo, but my middle name is Francesco for my friends. Um, so thank you again, Sanket, for the introduction, for the thank you all of you. I mean, all people that have joined today. My name is Francesco. So a little bit about myself. I'm a former naval officer. I work in the Peruvian Naval Office in the Peruvian Navy for about 13 years. Well, I'm naturally from Peru. It's a small country in South America. Maybe you may know what is Peru because of Machu Picchu, one of the wonders of the world. We are really proud of it. Right now, I'm living in in Toronto, Canada, and I work as a pen tester in a cybersecurity company. I'm an ethical hacker, pen tester, cyber researcher, and a CTF player in my free time, right? So I have more than 10 years working in IT, specifically in the offensive side of the business as a penetration tester, as an ethical hacker. I love that war. I know that the cybersecurity war has different fields, but I have chosen that, in my opinion, is the most exciting field, that is the ethical hacking part. So I'm not saying that the other parts of cybersecurity are not amazing as well, but I really like what I do. And well, a little bit about my time in the Navy. When I was working there, I worked in the Cyber Defense Command of the Peruvian Navy in the offensive department, leading the cyber operations. And well, that's it. I mean, that's actually my life. So I will start sharing my screen so we can start this presentation. Okay. Please, can you confirm me that you can see my screen?
Yes, Francesco, I can see your screen. We can see your screen.
Amazing. Amazing. So I don't know if you Sanket or everybody has any problem if I use this not the whole screen with the presentation, because that will help me to move faster to the browser and also to some tools that I will use. I don't know if you have any problem if I use this size of the presentation, or you would like me to expand it like in the whole page. Hmm? Is it fine? Okay, so
Yes, it's fine. By the way, guys, just a heads up. If you want to take screenshots, feel free to go ahead and take screenshots during the workshop also. So yeah, you
okay.
can use it in the same
Okay,
time.
perfect, perfect. So a little bit what we're gonna see in this 2 days workshop, we're gonna get inside into the ethical hacking world. So we're gonna talk about the intention of the hackers. We are gonna learn about some ethical hacking tools. I will show you how to install the some of the tools that I normally use every day, some free tools as well that you can use that are open source for the whole process of the penetration testing operation, right? So you know the penetration testing the goal of the penetration testing process is to penetrate a network, a website, an API, a cell phone, or whatever device that could be in the cyberspace, right? So, uh, I mean, that process is very rigorous. So we start that process collecting information about the target. Then we proceed to scan the different IPs that we got, the domains, the subdomains. Everything is a whole process that could take 1.5 month, right? And I will explain you very briefly uh, how each step works, and also we're going to review some theoretical information about hackers, the different types of hackers, the intentions behind every hacker. I mean, what is the purpose, right? Well, I mean, um, I'm more than sure that you have heard about some cyber attacks before. I'm more than sure that. So, what is the intentions behind the different kind of attacks? Okay, so let's start it. So a few things before we get started. Feel free to submit your questions. We will answer them as we go, or address them at the end. Okay, so sometimes I cannot answer all the questions while I'm doing the presentation, because if not, I will never finish. So normally I spend the last 15 or 10 minutes of the presentation to answer some questions that you could have. Okay, so inside the world of ethical hacking, we're gonna review how is the world inside this exciting world that is the ethical hacking, that I'm most unsure, as I said, that you have heard that before, how uh, the malicious actors around the world penetrates a network, grab information, retrieve information from databases, apply some defacement to websites, get credentials, get credit cards. I mean, this war is it's fascinating. So the objective of today is we're gonna make some difference. What is hacking and hackers? What is the hacking process phases? Actually, I wanna highlight this part, because this is what I normally like to teach, because the hacking process is very important for the penetration testing operations, right? And the hacking knowledge domain and the hacking simulation. I will teach you what we're gonna do today I will teach you some commands, some Linux command and Linux operation system. I don't know if you're familiarized with that OS. It's an operation system as Windows. Is maybe is the most common one around the world, like the Mac, and there's one that it's called Linux. So it has some particular characteristics, and I will try to be I will try to teach you how to use some tools, some basic tools that every ethical hacker must know. Okay, so here, let's start. So this is the the picture of how we think that are all the hackers, or that is the representation of a hacker around the world. But I will tell you something. A hacker could be any person, could be even a kid. There's some underage people that have generated a lot of problems in the past. So that is the normal representation of a of a hacker, but it's not always like that. It's just a representation. It's how the world represents hackers, but it's not always like that. Okay, so what is the goal of hacking? So, um, so what a malicious hacker could generate or could provoke into an organization if they succeed into the attack, if they succeeded, right? If they get access into the database of a website, if they get access into a database of I don't know, of a bank institution or a financial institution, or for example, a website that sells different kind of products. What is behind the, for example, that DOS attacks? I don't know if you have heard that, a denial of service attack. So what what a malicious hacker could generate, could provoke those organizations? First, financial loss, definitely, because we'll lose money. Just imagine for 1 minute, just for 1 minute, what could happen? What could happen if you are in the middle of a purchase or you are trying to buy something um, through Amazon, Amazon.com, let's imagine, and you're trying to buy something, and eventually the website goes down, the server completely shut down. Can you imagine how much money Amazon could lose just in 1 minute if their servers goes down? Could be millions of dollars. And that is very dangerous for organizations that generates money through their websites, right? Another problem that could happen is that data leakage, right? Data leakage. So what happened? The malicious hacker get inside the database of an organization and retrieve information about the employees, or maybe information about the software that they are creating, right? That they don't want to make it publish right now, but maybe in the future they will release the information, but right now they don't want to do it. They don't want to do that. So what could happen? A malicious hacker could retrieve their information and publish it online, so the competitors will take an advantage of it. Data leakage, information that shouldn't be published but is published because of a malicious hacker. Data manipulation. We're in a website. We're looking at a website. When we get access into, for example, Google, the first thing that we see is the big letters with colors that is that color that represents Google, right? So what would happen if I'm in a website and eventually the website change, right? Instead of I don't know, instead of information about animals, I will start showing something not legal, or the website starts selling drugs, or I change the picture of an animal in a website that present animals, and I will change it for um, some other information that is not about animals. So data manipulation, we're gonna change the data inside a website or inside a network as well. We get inside into a network, for example, a network organization. Just imagine where you work right now. Maybe your organization have servers. Inside the servers, inside, for example, a database servers, they could store information about about the employees, maybe social security numbers, passwords, emails, um, information that is critical. So it's critical information for the organization. So what would happen if I change that information? I get access into the database and I change the information. That could lead into a huge problem, and the organization could face some legal actions. Loss of reputation. What would happen? As I said at the beginning, if the servers of Amazon eventually shut it down, they disappear. Nobody can get access into their websites. What could happen? They could lose reputation, right? Because Now, instead of going to Amazon, I will go to Alibaba, right? The competitor. So, right? Infrastructure damage. When we talk about infrastructure damage, we are provoking damage like deleting information, changing information. We are generating or we are saturating the servers, and that could lead into a complete shutdown of the network of the internal network of an organization. I had the opportunity to live a situation like that in the past, but because of a malware inside the infrastructure provokes a huge problem in one of the most critical servers of the organization where I was working. And unfortunately, we had to stop working for 3 days because of that, because of the recovery of the server. And obviously, in 3 days, and a big organization could lose a lot of money, right? The web defacement, we change the information in websites. We change the information instead of showing something. We show the face of anonymous, for example. Web defacement, we change the images of the or the information in a website. It could be through cross-site scripting attacks, or could be through command injection attacks or SQL injection attacks, etc., etc. And data loss, obviously, as you may know, data loss. We delete the information that could be inside a database or in the servers or of any organization, and that is a huge problem, right? So, what is cybersecurity, or what we are looking when we think about cybersecurity? What is the first things that comes to our minds? Protection assets, because we want to protect assets, critical infrastructures, right? The data, the and how the data is transmitted, processed, and stored in different databases. Normally, maybe you are not very familiarized with this vocabulary. The databases, normally the databases works like storage. We store information about the system, about an organization, about the website. We store the information there. It's like our, I don't know, maybe you could have a room in your house where that you use as an storage, right? So that is the purpose of database. So the databases are very critical infrastructure, critical assets in any network. So what are the hacker intentions, which hacker intentions they could have? First of all, as you know, financial gain, if they get access into an account, for example, of a financial institution account, but the first thing that they can do is to rob or to grab the money that is in the account, right? So most of the so I definitely, I think that we're putting this this first intention first because is the most well known, right? Financial gain. Obviously, every hacker, what they want is to get money. That's how the hacking things have started from the beginning, right? It's still in data, but at the same time, when we steal data, what we're gonna do with the data? We're gonna try to sell the data, and at the end of the day, what we're gonna get is money, right? In exchange. So financial gain, political gain. So yes, that is very important. I think that we have seen that before. Um, there was a lot of problems in the past in that, for example, in the United States with the past election, and one before the last one, I think, because the some hacktivists. That is the, I mean, we haven't arrived to that point yet, but hacktivists are the people who who have some political intentions, right? Who have some political intentions, and they have some knowledge about hacking or cybersecurity, and they use that knowledge to um, to make some influence, or yeah, right, to make some influence in the political results in the future, right? Distraction, and how distraction, maybe this could be a little weird for you guys. So distraction, normally the attacks starts with denial of service attacks. Denial of service attacks is when I send multiple thousand of packages to a server, and what will provoke that? We're gonna shut down the server. But at the same time, there are some other malicious hackers that work together that are getting inside the network. So I will distract the organization, right? I will uh, capture the attention of the organization because of the denial of service attacks when I'm provoking or generating millions of packages to shut down the server, but at the same time, there are some other malicious hackers that are trying to get access inside the network. So I will distract people in the organization. Fun and fame, yeah, there are some people that they love to do this just for fun. It's it's pretty normal. Learning as well. Um, Learning, well, there are some other ways to learn this. Hacking, but yeah, I mean, definitely learning is one of the ways that you can do. The problem is that if you're learning and you do something illegal, you could have the police in front of your door very soon. So I don't recommend you to do this kind of things just for fun, because if you don't really know how to do it and how to cover yourself with some security protection to don't get caught, that could be, I don't really recommend you to do that. And also helping others, that is very very important, and that is why we are here today in this workshop. We're gonna try to help you to and motivate you to get into this amazing world that is cybersecurity, right? Well, there are some hackers classifications. Black hat, the black hack black hat hacker is the ones that they use their knowledge in an illegal way, right? They use their knowledge to provoke damage, to do damage to an infrastructure, to a person, against an infrastructure, against an organization, right? And they use their knowledge in the bad way. The the white hat hackers are the ones that normally they work for organization. We all here are white hat hackers, I hope. A gray hat is like in the middle, for example. Normally they start as a black hat because they get some, for example, they were testing a website, they found a vulnerability, they didn't have a previous authorization to do that, and after that they report the information to the organization. Hey, I found this. If you don't pay me, I could release that information, so be careful, right? That is great. Like, it's in the middle. um, they they don't act in at the beginning they act in a malicious way, but then they try to fix it, but with some conditions, right? So they are not black, they're not white, they're gray. So nation state sponsor, well, there are some nations that have their own hackers. We all know that the United States, Russia, North Korea, China, India, big countries, powerful countries that, and the European Union itself. So they have their own hackers, um, and uh, and I assure you that every day there are multiple or thousand of attacks. The hacktivists, as I said, the hacktivists are the one who has some political intentions. Script kiddies are the kids, right? The kids that, I mean, not kids as kids. I'm talking about without knowledge, people without knowledge that use the information, that use scripts and exploits from other people around the world, and they use it in their benefit. So sometimes they could provoke a lot of damage as well. And the insider, oh, the insider is the most dangerous. Insider is the one that, for example, works in an organization. Inside, they know everything about the organization. They know how to get access into any program, any software, any part of the organization, and suddenly that person get fired. Oh my goodness. I trust me that the very next day, if he thinks was that was not fair, the first thing that he or she will do is to release some information about the organization, or try to get access inside the organization and delete some critical information about them. The insider. Be careful with them. And well, the white hat hackers, penetration testers. In my case, I'm a penetration tester. Red team, it's like a big team of penetration testers. I mean, the job of the red team is a little. It's more. I don't want to say more professional, but uh, it's more focused on big organizations. For example, if I have a penetration, let's imagine that I have a penetration testing operation for the organization XYZ. Okay, so if I have a penetration testing operation because of they have requested my services, I will ask them, okay, what do you want? Okay, and the organization X, Y, and Z will tell me, I would like you to test this server, and this IP, that IP, this domain, this subdomain. Perfect. So this is the cost of. We have included this amount of assets, so this will be the cost. Amazing. The red team, what they normally do is black boxes attacks. So, for example, let's say the organization X, Y, and Z wants a red team operation against their organization. So how we're gonna start this operation is just knowing that the name of the organization is X, Y, and Z. That's it. So we're gonna do everything from outside. We're gonna have to discover everything. We're gonna start the operation without information about them. The blue team is the teams that they do the security of the organization, firewall, security operations center, network operations center, IDS, IPS, the CM, etc., etc. The purple team, a hybrid of both of them. Vulnerability assessments. I don't know if you have heard about Nessus before. In Personally, I use for my operations, I use Nessus. Is a vulnerability assessment tool that discover vulnerabilities in an infrastructure. That is a vulnerability assessment. And there's a point that I want to touch here. The difference between a penetration testing and a vulnerability assessment. The vulnerability assessment is just the way to discover the vulnerabilities in the system, but not exploiting them. So no taking advantage of the vulnerabilities that we have discovered. The penetration testing and the red team operations are the ones that are the ones that we add something else. We take the next step. We take this to the next level. That is trying to exploit the vulnerability. It's not just discovering the vulnerabilities in the system. It's plus trying to exploit them if it's possible. Sometimes it's possible, sometimes it's not possible because of some security systems that the network could have, right? So this is the part that I wanted to arrive. So the hacking process, reconnaissance. We remember the organization I mentioned before, X, Y, and Z. Reconnaissance. We try to grab or to get all the information about the company X, Y, and Z. We use free resources. We use some automated tools. We use information, public information, like we can get information about their employees on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and Google. Believe me or not, Google will be your best friend if you want to be an ethical hacker. Will be your best friend. I will show you some websites to get some information about domains and subdomains, IPs, and so on, so you can learn from that. Then the second step is scanning is very important because we're going to scan all the IP addresses of the organization and also the domains. Gaining access after we scan the IPs, after we get some possible vulnerabilities, we are going to try to exploit them. We're going to try to exploit those vulnerabilities, and we're going to get access into the server, into the database. We're gonna get succeed with some particular attack. Maintain access after we get inside the server or inside any server. We are gonna try to do it again, maybe tomorrow, but one of the ways to do it is to make if to creating, for example, this is an example of how you can do this. We can create a user. We can create a user inside the infrastructure, inside the server, with our password, with our privileges. So tomorrow I will use that user and I will use that password to get access again without doing the first, second, and third step again, right? Clearing tags, clearing tracks after we finish the operation. What we are gonna do is to delete all the information that we have generated, normally the logs and so on. And the reporting part is the part that you present to the client at the end of your operation. We report the information, we show the information, all the information that we got from the operation, like for example, all the vulnerabilities we found, all the exploitations that we have done, etc., etc. And obviously, at the end of the report, we're gonna mention some recommendation for them, what they have to do to solve or fix those bugs or vulnerabilities in their systems. Okay, so hacking process phases, recognition, active recognition, passive recognitions. I normally start my presentation saying the following. Hacking is illegal, guys. Don't do this kind of operation without previous authorization from the organization. Remember, hacking is illegal if you don't have previous authorization from the organization or the owner of the business. Okay, why I'm mentioning this here? Because of the first step, there is recognition, hosts two parts, active and passive recognition. The passive recognitions, we are going to use websites that are public and the information is public. That is the only part. Guys, remember this. This is the only part of the penetration testing process that is legal without authorization, without permission. Passive recognitions, because it's information that we are going to gather from different sources that are public on internet, right? But when we start the active recognitions, we're gonna send packages, we're gonna use automated tools, and we could generate traffic in the network of the target. And if we don't have permission to do that, that could lead into some legal problems. So remember this: passive reconnaissance is the only part that is legal without authorization of the penetration testing process. And now I will show you some websites. Oh, this is my LinkedIn page if you want to follow me. Now that you will copy paste my LinkedIn on the chat, so you can follow me if you want. So let me, okay, so I cannot, okay. Perfect. So what I wanna show you today is some websites, some amazing websites to gather information about an organization, for example. So one of the websites that I normally use in my operations, everything that I will show you today are the things that I normally use. It's nothing like I'm not hiding anything um from my normal operations that I do normally every day. I will show you the website that normally works for me. So one of that is DNS Dumpster. DNS Dumpster is a website, is very useful. After we know, for example, the organization that we're gonna test. Let's imagine that the organization in this case would be Tesla. Remember that this part is the only part that is legal because it's passive recognition. We're gonna use sources that are published for free on internet. So let's imagine that we say tesla.com. We're gonna get some information about them. We know that the servers are located, look, they are located in the United States. They have one, they have two in Netherlands. They have two hosts in Netherlands. So if we scroll down, here, we're gonna get some information about them, right? About their DNS service, the DNS service that they use. They use AKMM is Akamai, is one of the biggest cybersecurity companies around the world. These are the IP addresses they are using. Akamai, oh yeah, Akamai. If we scroll down, now we can know that Tesla use Outlook. They use Outlook. Look, that is the mail server that they use. These are the TXT records. So there's a lot of information that we can get from this website, and it's free. It's free information. This is the only part, as I said, that is legal. We can get a lot of information about organizations using these kind of sources. Look, tesla.com. This is the IP address of tesla.com that is hosted in Akamai. Obviously, this is the easiest part because the information is for free. But then, to try to take an advantage or to try to penetrate one of these domains or subdomains would be very difficult because I'm pretty sure that Akamai is protecting them really well. So let it look, there are some other subdomains here. PTR1, the Tesla.com, VPN2. Maybe this is the way that their employees get access into the internal network, right? VPN3, they have three VPNs. I think they have more marketing than Tesla.com. All of the subdomains or most of the subdomains that Tesla manage. Look, and also with the IP address, a lot of information. But what I like about this page is that they present you all the information that they gather in with a graph, in this graph. And if you scroll down, you can download the graph. You can download here the graph or view the graph, right? So this website is really nice for passive reconnaissance. There's another one that is called Security Trails. This website actually does the same, almost the same. You can get information just inserting the domain IP or the host name or maybe a keyword about the organization, and you get the information about them. There's another website as well that is called Central Ops. Central Ops. So Central Ops is, I mean, actually it does the same. Um, you get information. Let's imagine, but it's not that accurate as the as DNS dumpster and security trails, but you can get some information, or maybe you can corroborate the information, right? You can match the information between them, right? So you can get some information here. Some information about the organization, some IP addresses, information about the domain. If you scroll down, you will see the the range where Tesla works in Akamai network. If you scroll down, you can see the DNS records. It's basically the same information that we got before, right? So these are one of the free tools that we can use for passive reconnaissance. So now for the active reconnaissance, we could use some automated tools that if you use them against an organization without authorization, it's illegal because we're going to generate traffic in your network, and if they didn't grant us the permission to do that, it's not legal. So this part is very critical. So for the passive reconnaissance, I will recommend you to go to those websites to get some information. You can play with them, and it's really nice. So hacking process phases, the scanning, we're gonna scan the services that are there. One of the tools that I would like to show you is Nmap. We're gonna we're gonna do the demo like a real attack tomorrow. We're gonna do a real attack using real tools using Kali Linux. Okay, so the vulnerability scanning, as I said, is an scanner, for example, like Tenable, that we use to scan the systems to get the information about the vulnerabilities in an infrastructure, website, etc., etc. Enumeration is the art of get information about a target and a specific target, right? So gaining access, the vulnerability exploitation. After we enumerate the target, after we get as much information as possible, what we're gonna do is to try to find a vulnerability in their system, right? And after we get that vulnerability and we know that there are some exploits around the world, or if we can create one, we can get access into the system, we can get access into the server, right? So after, as I said, after we get access into the server, we would like to do it tomorrow again without going through the same process again. So one of the things that we can do is to make one of the things that we can do to maintain access into the server is to create our own user with our own password. So tomorrow, what we're gonna do is to use that user and to use that password to get access again, instead of going through the whole process that could take a lot of time, right? To get access into the server or into a network. So after that, we modify the logs, we remove some the logs that we have created in the process of the penetration in the penetration testing process or the red team operation. We delete all the evidence, as the image says. We delete all the evidence that is stored in the infrastructure, right? And the report. The report is the last part. We present the report to the client. We show them, hey, you have 1,000 vulnerabilities in your network. So this is the priority, right? These are critical, these are high, these are medium, these are low. This is just informational. So I will recommend you to um, to solve these critical vulnerabilities, and and you have to be focused on these first three because of I was able to exploit them. I got inside the database, I grabbed information, I got these credit cards numbers, I got these passwords, and I could penetrate one of your internal web servers, and that lead into information about I don't know, I got all the social security numbers that your employees have, and you have to fix this bug. And I recommend you to install a firewall in front of this. I will recommend you to isolate these machines because they are very critical for your organization, so I will recommend you to do that. Amazing. So that is the report. We're going to tell them what to do, what is the next step, what they have to do, right? So the hacking process faces the web there's different types of hacking. And personally, I'm expert on web application hacking, network hacking, social engineering, wireless network hacking, and databases. I'm not an expert on malware and reverse engineering, neither cryptography. But obviously, in the process to do the web application hacking, network hacking, wireless network hacking, I need sometimes to deal with malware, reverse engineering, and cryptography. So definitely, I know, I have the knowledge of that. And sometimes during the operation, you have to make some researches, right? You eventually you will face something that you don't know, and you have to make a research about it, you have to invest time about it. I mean, that is why the penetration testing operation could take 1 month, 1 month and a half. My one of the penetration testing that I did last month was to a hospital. A hospital is a critical infrastructure, right? And took me almost 2 months to finish it because the infrastructure was huge and was a red team operation from zero. Just knowing the name of the target, just knowing the name of the target. So it takes a lot of time, a lot of dedication to do this, right? So there are some certifications that you can get from some well-known organizations like Microsoft, Cisco, Amazon, Google, Easy Council, CompTIA, of Offensive Security. Offensive Security are the owners of Kali Linux. Kali Linux is the operation system that most of the hackers use, and we're gonna use it. Or WASP, right? There are some websites that you can get access in order to practice your hacking um, your hacking activities in a legal way, like Pornhub, for example. And time for some hands-on. Let's get inside. Let's get inside. This is my VMware. Have you heard about VMware? It's for virtualization environments. We're gonna run Kali Linux here. I will show you some tools. We're gonna run here. This is Kali Linux. It's the operation systems of all the hackers. All the hackers use that operation system, or it could be also Parrot. There are some others that you can use. Parrot is a good one, actually, but I always prefer Kali. This is the most recent version. Is So that is the way that you run it. You have to virtualize it. I mean, for example, this is a Windows machine, so I'm virtualizing the operation system to run it here. So I will show you some commands here so you can learn how to use some basic commands. And obviously tomorrow we're gonna do the real exercises, the real demo. So just to let you know, the username and the password is Kali. That's per default, right? And we are now in our Kali Linux. Amazing. Let's wait. Amazing. We are in. So this is the environment. This is the hacking environment. We have a lot of tools here, plenty of tools for the different steps: information gathering, vulnerability analysis, web application analysis, database assessment, password crackings, wireless attacks, etc., etc. So this is the terminal where we are gonna move from one place to another. Let's increase the size a little bit so you can see better if we want. So let's start with the basics. If you want to know what is your IP address, IPA, you know your IP address. This is the IP address that my router is assigning me right now. So if I want to list the directories, I will type ls. Why? ls stands for list. List the directories that are inside. I have those directories: birth certificate, desktop, documents, downloads, YouTube's, music, pictures, public reports, settings, etc., etc. So if I wanna move, or if I wanna know where I am right now, pwd home, in the partition home and Kali. What is my name? Who I am? Kali. What is my ID? This is my identification. If I wanna clean, because I wanna clean the page, clear. If I want to create a directory like this, oh, so you want to create a directory, mkdir, let's imagine a workshop. Now we can see workshop. CD stands for change directory. Work, get inside. If we try to see what is inside, we don't see anything because we haven't created anything. If we want to create a file, nano txt, because have the txt extension. We want to save this file, Control X, yes. Now we list, we will be able to see that file, workshop.txt. We clear the page, cat concatenate. If we want to check what is inside the file, hello, this is my first workshop. If I want to delete the file, rm stands for remove, and now I don't have anything, right? If I go back to the beginning, cd, change directory, and I'm back, clear the page, ls. If I want to delete, this directory, sudo stands for super user do. That means that we are gonna get the administration privileges for 1 second. cd rm -r workshop, the password Kali, and we don't have the directory anymore, right? So I just wanted to show you this very briefly, right? We're gonna do a demo tomorrow, like a real hacking demo, but this is just some commands, that's some basic commands that all ethical hackers should know. Obviously there are more, and you are very welcome to search for that on internet, like Kali Linux or Linux commands, and you will get all of them. Clear the page. If you wanna delete, no, if you wanna shut down your system, sudo shutdown -h now. Boom, we close the system. I hope you like it. Let's open the session again. And do you see how cybersecurity is the new growth driver for any business? Thumbs up if you agree with me. Amazing. So a cybersecurity with a skill we discussed today can charge anything from 300 to 1,000 depending on projects, right? Do you understand how valuable this is for a company? This is very valuable. Penetration testing is the outcome of one skill. There are many others extremely valuable skills that you bring on board as a cybersecurity professional. This was the first time that you were introduced to this concept? If you have understood even one new concept, you have made a progress. Once you do this week on week and stack up all your work, it will become your own cybersecurity portfolio, which you can then demonstrate to your recruiters. You can also upload these assignments as Word samples on Upwork and LinkedIn. What do you think? Does this look exciting to you? It's amazing. I love the ethical hacking world. I love cybersecurity, and I would encourage you to continue your education in ethical hacking and, well, in cybersecurity, and then you can choose whatever you like. But it's very exciting. The ethical hacking world is very exciting. Remember, Schultes has helped thousands of its students to become exceptional cybersecurity experts who have started their careers within a period of 6 months to 1 year of beginning their journey. Do you want to learn the skills and qualification needed for a career in cybersecurity? Hundreds of Schultes students have produced this result in this area within just 6 months of training. We recommend that you learn these nine high demand skills that you can learn in 6 months. And this would be enough for you to get a very well paid cybersecurity job. Cybersecurity pays really well. That is a fact. That is true. Pays really, really well. And these are the specializations, right? The specialization where you can focus on network security, system security, threat intelligence, governance, risk management, compliance, logs and detection, Python, application security and penetration testing, applied cryptography, and hands-on projects. About coding, some people think that we should know coding to be a ethical hacker. I can tell you that that's not true. It is important to know how to read the code, but not a developer or a coding person, right? I'm telling you this from experience. I'm an ethical hacker and I'm not really good on programming.
Kat, thank you for the warm welcome. And yeah, you are right. Yesterday we had an amazing first day of workshop presentation, and thank you all of you to join today. I know that it's Sunday. Sometimes it's difficult, and but you're here, so you're interested in learning more about cybersecurity. Well, a little bit about me for the people that didn't join yesterday. My name is Eduardo Francesco Coquela. I'm a former naval officer currently living in Toronto, Canada, and I work as a penetration tester and ethical hacker in a cybersecurity company here in Canada. So, my expertise is more focused on the offensive side. As you may know, cybersecurity is a huge field um, that hosts a lot of different specializations. And well, basically, I chose the one that is the red team one, the offensive hacking and those funny stuff. So let me share my screen so we can start the session today. Give me 1 second. I'm sharing my screen right now. Okay, can you see my screen? Can you see my screen now? Yeah? Give me some emojis, please, to know if you are seeing my screen. Are you able to see the presentation? Amazing, amazing. So uh, I promise you that today, at the end of the session, I will show you a SQL injection attack. Okay, for the people that don't know what is a SQL injection attack, If you joined yesterday, I think that I took like a couple of minutes explaining in what consists a SQL injection attack that was taking advantage of an unsanitized parameter in a web application. And because of that, the malicious actor or the malicious hacker was able to get into the database and grab information from there. It could be username, password, credit cards, etc. etc. We are gonna do it in a legal environment. A legal environment, because as I always start my presentations, remember these words: hacking, guys, is illegal. Never, never do it without previous authorization from the target. Never. Hacking is illegal. Okay? That is one of the things that you have to remember, that you have to always remember. Hacking is illegal. Never do it without previous authorization. Okay, so let's jump into the first slide of today. I don't know if you know who is Kevin Mitnick. Kevin Mitnick, well, he already passed away. If I'm not wrong, a couple of years ago, or was last year. I'm not 100% sure, but he already passed away. He was considered one of the best hackers around the world. I'm not a hacker. I'm a security professional. Amazing. That's his shirt. So um, he said this: a company can spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on firewalls, intrusion detection systems, and encryption and other security technologies. But if an attacker can call one trusted person within the company and the person complies, and if the attacker gets in, then all that money spent on technology is essentially wasted. Why do you think he said that? Why do you think he was more focused on how how is the people behavior, what how is the mind, how is the thoughts of people? Because his expertise, his main expertise, was social engineering. He was a hacker. He was considered the best hacker in the world, but not because he was the best coding in coding, or he was the best applying SQL injection attacks, or creating malicious malwares and so on. He was an expert in social engineering. Social engineering, remember, it doesn't matter if you have the best technology in the world in your infrastructure. You just need one unaware person in the organization to get inside. That's what Kevin Mitnick is leaving us today with, that information that is very valuable. How many times we have received phishing attacks, or messages in our cell phones, or I don't know, or scan this QR code. I have an article about QR codes. If you go to my LinkedIn profile, you can check that. And this is a step by step process of how to do it, how to um, how to use QR codes with malicious URLs embedded. If you have time, please check it. So, how to start a career in cybersecurity from zero to hero. Are you ready? Amazing. What is cybersecurity? The first thing that, I mean, if you are starting your journey in cybersecurity, the first thing is that you will ask is, what is cybersecurity, right? I mean, what we're talking about when when we talk about cybersecurity. So, in simple terms, cybersecurity is the practice of securing network resources and systems from digital cyber attacks. This means anytime you take measures to protect the system or network from cyber attacks, you are practicing cybersecurity. Despite its superficial simplicity, there's something There's something that maybe we can add here. Is not just securing networks or systems from digital cyber attacks. Cybersecurity is also physical. For example, if a company if a company have a data center, I don't know if you're familiarized with that word, a data center. In the data center, companies host servers, databases, web application servers, valuable information about the organization stored in databases, right? So what would happen? What would happen is someone just open the door of the data center and get inside. That's physical security. That is also part of cybersecurity, right? So also cyber awareness training for your employees. The employees, remember, I can tell you from experience, employees normally are the ones who make all the mistakes in the organization. Normally, the security systems, the perimeter security in the organization works really good. But as soon as the employee click on the wrong link, visit the wrong website, or disable the multi-factor authentication, or change his or her password to a weak one, like password 123. That's when the problems get started in an organization. Okay, so why is cybersecurity important nowadays? Why do you think that cybersecurity is it's very important nowadays? Nowadays, everything around the world is interconnected. Everything around the world is interconnected through bits, zeros, and one. Nowadays, it's really hard to find an organization without at least one computer in the office. It's almost impossible. You, at least, if you work in an organization or in a company, it doesn't matter if that company is small, medium, or huge. You will always find at least one security or one technology that is connected to the router or to the modem in your organization. And that and that believe me, guys, that believe me, that could be hackable by someone and should be protected by a security measure, right? So that is the importance of cybersecurity. That now, as the slide says, now that companies are fully reliant on technology and digital tools, cybersecurity servers where we store valuable information about the organization, as the wall keeping bad actors from accessing sensitive data and taking down networks, right? We have to protect our assets. Uh, we have to protect things we have and help us to make money. We have an organization, we have server databases, information, web application servers that allow us to generate money. Obviously, we have to protect that because as soon as the network goes down, we stop making money. And everything nowadays, as I said, is interconnected around the world. Damage. Cyber criminals have the ability to steal intellectual property, customer information, and other valuable data that may compromise the company and its reputation. Additionally, cyber criminals can disrupt and damage systems. Normally, hackers they grab information, they get the information, and they go to the dark web and they sell it. Right? What is the sense? For example, if I get, let's imagine, a couple of credit cards because of um, because I get access into a financial institution. I get like 10 credit cards and CVVs and security numbers, and I sell them into the dark web. After I sell them into the dark web, let's imagine that 100 per account. I won't use it. I won't use that account. There will be someone else who is buying the credit card, who is buying for me. So that's not my problem. I will sell it. And that is the business actually. I sell, for example, a credit card of $5,000 for 200, right? So, and that is how it works. That is how it works the business in the dark web. Why businesses? Why the businesses need cybersecurity? Obviously, the answer I just already answered that question. Why businesses need cybersecurity? We have physical infrastructure in our business in case that we have the servers, the databases, some valuable information about our employees inside our organization. We have to protect that information from malicious actors to get access into that information because they could sell it. We have to protect also ourselves from the insiders. I think that I mentioned that yesterday. The insiders, I don't know if you have heard about that. Insiders, for example, is one of the most dangerous actors in an organization. Why? Because the insider is a person who is inside the organization that have access to valuable and to critical assets inside the company, have access, and that person can manipulate, change, modify, delete, or simply just get it and sell it to the best buyer, right? So just imagine an insider or a person who works in an organization that get fired. What do you think will happen if that person thinks that he didn't deserve it? The very next day, the first thing that that person will do is to provoke a great damage to that organization because that particular person knew everything about the passwords, the softwares, and everything that the organization use. So, and what we have to be aware of is that when we allow an insider to do those kind of things, like those malicious things, it's also responsibility of the organization. Remember that there's a team, there's an IT department that it's supposed that should protect um, the critical assets in the organization. Not just that, but also, for example, let's say um, we have let's imagine a network, right? A network where we store passport, credit cards, information about the organization, and in a different part of the data center, we have a file a file share server. That I mean, the function is to share files among the employees, right, inside the organization. And what happens if a regular user, like a common employee in the organization, can get access to the database directly? That shouldn't be happening, right? Because there's a responsibility on the IT department that they have to apply, and they didn't. They have to apply that because that is just a regular user who can get access into the databases, who can get access into the critical infrastructure. Just the people that is granted: administrators, the owner, maybe the vice president, or people like that, right? Maybe not the normal users in the organization. So it's not just the insider or the inside threat. It's also responsibility of the same organization, the IT department, that they don't apply the policies really well, right? increasing threats and the cost of cybersecurity, you know that cybersecurity and the cybercrime provokes a great damage in the economy of the world. You know how much money they make every day around the world? Millions. Just imagine, I think that I mentioned this example yesterday. Just imagine that you are in Amazon.com at this right minute trying to buy, I don't know, let's imagine you are trying to buy a game or something like that for PS5. Okay, you're trying to buy a game and you are in Amazon, and obviously, what you want to do is to get your product, just pay with your credit card. What do you think would happen? What do you think would happen if suddenly, eventually, the website goes down? The website disappear. And when you try to refresh, it says error, the website is down. What do you think would happen with the reputation of Amazon? What do you think would happen in just 30 minutes if Amazon stopped selling products? How much money they could lose with that cyber attack? And that is a very common cyber attack that is very well known, that happened before, not exactly to Amazon, but happened to different big organizations like Spotify. Is was one of the targets as well. GitHub, that the website goes down for, I think, was like 10 minutes or 12 minutes or something like that. And that's a really bad reputation, because now the user, instead of use Amazon, what do you think they will use? Maybe they will use Alibaba, or maybe they will use another website because they won't trust on Amazon anymore, right? So the cybercrime costs a lot of money. New malware capabilities combined with an increase in data breach events have driven up the total cost of cybercrime. Amazing. According to the FBI Internet Crime Report, in 2021 was a banner year of cybercrime with a record 8,000 847,376 complaints received by the Bureau Internet Crime Complaint Center. I had the opportunity before to get access into some of denial of service as a service. What is that? Maybe you're wondering right now. Denial of service as a service are some, I don't know if I would call them malicious, but there are some organizations around the world that we don't know who they are, that they have their own servers, right? They have their own servers, and they offer release or launch denial of service attacks to a specific target, to a particular target, that target you want, if you pay, right? If you pay a price for that. But obviously that is not that won't be utilizing your credit card. That will be in bitcoins, and that is how the darknet works nowadays. There's plenty of those organizations and websites that you can find around, not even in the dark web, but also in the Google indexing world, that you can find, and they will ask you for some bitcoins. You pay in bitcoins, and you have the possibility to launch an attack with, for example, let's imagine, I have seen that with 20 gigabytes of data. Just imagine sending an attack, sending 20 gigabits of data per second. Don't you think that any server or web application will be saturated after receiving 20 gigabytes of requests or packages or trash in 1 second? Obviously, the server will goes down, and nobody around the world will be able to get access. That is what the cybercrimes does. Amazing, 6.9 billion. the potential losses from those reports cybercrimes exceeded 6.9 billion. So you have to be careful with that. Be careful with what where you click on, and always have anti-malware or an EDR or an antivirus in your computer that the timing have to be up to date, right? 2000 hackers are using advanced strategies to steal login credentials for access to smartphone and computers. Remember, the smartphones are also computers. They have a processor inside, so that becomes or that turns that the smartphone as computer as well. So everything that is interconnected or has the availability to establish connection to the router in your house is could be considered a computer. I don't know if you have heard about the smart houses before. Nowadays, those are the threats as well, because the smart houses have everything is why is it smart? Because everything is connected to the router, to the modem in your house. So that makes that device automatic, right? That makes the device works automatic. But there's a potential threat on that, that most of the IoT is Internet of Things, most of the IoT companies, they don't apply the security measures to those devices. Why? Because they are more focused on what people really like, and people normally they don't pay attention. They don't normally pay attention in the security. They are more focused on what this product could provide me, right? If I have a coffee maker, if I have a smart coffee maker that works automatically every day at 7 a.m., I won't be worried about the security of that coffee maker. What I what I really wanted, what I really want is that the coffee maker works every day at 7 a.m. and prepare my coffee, right? So I'm not gonna be worried about the security. But if that smart coffee is connected to the router, is connected to the network and is interconnected, and if I scan the network, I can see it, that would be a problem. That could be a problem, because if I take control of that coffee maker, if I hack that coffee maker, I can jump. I can jump from the coffee maker to another critical device. Just imagine, and that happened in the past in a casino. The there was I remember that I read the news, and that happened in a casino in Las Vegas. There was a machine that had some uh, fishes inside, like a decoration in the network of that casino in Las Vegas. So the point is that that device, that particular device that store features inside, um, was smart, was connected to the network, and the system administrators of that network, they didn't isolate that particular asset from the main network. So what happened? Every day in the morning, that particular asset inside the infrastructure that should have been isolated start, started getting updated every day. So anyone who was connected in the network was able to see that device. And obviously, since it was an irrelevant device in the network, was vulnerable to multiple attacks. You know what happened the next day? Someone take control of that asset, take control of that asset, and after that, that hacker jumps from that to the machine slots that generate a data loss. They provoke critical damage to the infrastructure and a lot of financial loss. Demands for cybersecurity professional nowadays. I'm more than sure that you have heard that the demand for cybersecurity professional has raised a lot. and that's completely true. And I can tell you that, guys, because I work. I have um, more than 13 years working in this field. I spend most of my time working in the Cyber Defense Command in the Peruvian Navy. And when I turn into the private life, into the private sector, that actually was 3 years ago, right? When I get retired from the Navy after spend amazing years there. Um, during my time there, I got a lot of expertise. I learned a lot, and all that knowledge, I'm really thankful for that. And now I'm using it in the private sector. And I noticed as soon as I turn civilian, I noticed that there's plenty of companies that call you. There's plenty of companies that check on your profile because of you're a cybersecurity professional. And nowadays that increasing is increasing drastically. Yeah. Well, if you have done any research into into cybersecurity positions, you must have come across something called the cybersecurity talent gap. That is true. Um, Nowadays, that the interconnected world has increased so much, and there are more devices. We're creating more computers. Now it's not just computers. Now we are using for our own benefits artificial intelligence. There's a talent gap there. Everything, I can tell you this, everything around the world requires cybersecurity. That is something that every company should have included. Cybersecurity. People normally they think, oh no, but I work in a candy shop store. Why should I require cybersecurity? I just have this POS where that I use for the transactions, and I store the information of my employees in this computer, in these four computers. So I have their social security numbers there. I have their passwords there. So why would I require cybersecurity from an organization for this small business? Of course, you need it. I just mentioned all the critical assets that the infrastructure or small infrastructure, because I mean if I mention you a candy shop, of course the first thing that I will think is no, this organization doesn't require cybersecurity. Every organization from the smallest one to the biggest ones around the world require cybersecurity, and that provokes the talent gap in the market. The cybersecurity talent gap is the lack of skilled cybersecurity personnel available to fill much needed roles in organization. Well, a recent estimate shows that over 3.5 million cybersecurity roles will go unfilled in 2021 globally. These are positions that could already be training to fill. Furthermore, a PricewaterhouseCoopers report states less than half of companies worldwide are prepared for cyber attacks. Organizations hasn't hasn't made awareness training. They don't know. Some of them they don't believe in cybersecurity. They think that they will never receive an attack because they think that nobody will take care, or they think that nobody will care about their organizations. But they are wrong, because they start applying cybersecurity in their organizations after that first attack, right? Normally people is very reactive, right? That is our nature. Normally we react. um, it's very difficult to find um, organizations or people that actually prevent before they react. That is something that happened and will continue happening around the world. So, what's needed to get into cybersecurity? Job requirements for cybersecurity experts. Although individual jobs titles, they can vary, most cybersecurity experts engage in some similar day-to-day activities and need comparable skills, right? All cybersecurity specialists must have clear communication skills. Definitely. Because if you are, for example, in my job, I will tell you a little bit what I do every day. I'm a penetration tester. I pen test organization, and at the end of the operation, at the end of the job, at the end of the process, right? I have to write a report, and after that, I have to present that report to the owner of that organization that hired me to do the pen test. I have to do the presentation. I have to show them all the vulnerabilities that they have and what I did if I was able to exploit it or not. So definitely, the communication skills is a critical asset as well for cybersecurity. Maintain a strong attention to details and be creative problem solvers. Sometimes when I'm facing a penetration testing, when I'm doing a penetration testing, sometimes I face problems that I have never seen in my life before. What do I have to do? I have to make researchers. I have to invest time, right? So that is part of the process. That is part of the process. That is part of creative problem solvers. So many times I found vulnerabilities that I never seen before in my life, and I never done proof of concept before about them, and I have to make a research about it, and I have to test it one, two, three, four times. Sometimes they fail. Sometimes I can't take the next step. But problem solvers, we have to make researches about it. They also need knowledge of computer fundamentals, programming language, and risk assessment protocols, right? Specific careers, however, require particular and well defined skills. For example, penetration testers, that's my job, may need to create their own solutions, sometimes my own tools. I have my own tools. I use my personal resources for this. Um, eh, that requires a little bit of knowledge in programming. You can also use the open source tools from different people. There are free tools that you can use. You don't need to be an expert in programming language. You just need to know how to read the code. It is important to read the code. I know that there's some people that are a little scared about programming language because they think that they don't have the ability to learn this kind of skill. I will tell you that in my case, if you want to be an ethical hacker, if you want to be a penetration tester, it's not 100% required to be an expert in programming language. The only thing you need to know is to learn how to read the code. If you get a code, if you are in the middle of an operation and you get the, um, the source code of an application, you have to be able, you have to know how to read the code. Could be HTML with JavaScript and CSS, could be Python or whatever code. You have to be ready to start reading the code and understand what the code says, right? But if you ask me if I need to write that code, if I need to be a developer, not at all, not at all. And I can tell you from experience, I work on this field, in the offensive field, for more than 10 years, and I can tell you that it's not required to be a developer or to be an expert in programming languages, right? Commonly requires skills, solving problems, computer forensics. This is for cybersecurity in general, programming language, risk assessment, machine learning, frequently desired skill, cyber criminal law, cyber counterintelligence, cyber physical infrastructure practice, power system, protection, cybersecurity public policies, right? So these are the most common required skills and the desired skills that you should know. Uh, in the cybersecurity field, not everybody's technical. Not everybody is capable of running a script or run a code or create a code or create a software, etc., etc. There are some cybersecurity professionals well that they don't have any idea how to run an script, for example, or they don't know how to run a software, right? Or they don't know how to create it. Of course, there are some cybersecurity professionals that are more focused on on the theoretical part, right? The what we called the policies, how to apply them. We present to the owner of the organization. We make risk assessments, right? We have people that generate the risk assessment, and I mean, obviously, we must understand what we are reading, and we present it. We present that information to the owner of the company, etc., etc. I know that everybody thinks that cybersecurity requires like to be 100% technical and you have to be inside the computer and understand it from zero to hero the computer, but that's not true. I mean, there's some cybersecurity. If you ask me if it's if be a little technical will help you, 100%, 100% will help you, but it's not 100% required at the same time, right? So as I said, cybersecurity is a huge field that can host everybody with technical and non-technical uh, capabilities. Okay, bachelor's degree. Generally, a bachelor's degree requires 180 ECTS European credits and takes 3 years to complete. At some schools, learner can choose concentrations in offensive security, cloud computing, game development, or computer programming and analytics. A concentration that aligns with your intended career can give you a leg up in the job market. Earning a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity can position students for careers as vulnerability assessors. Vulnerability assessors. You don't have to be a very technical guy. You just have to know how to read and understand, especially understand what you're reading about a vulnerability and try to explain it, right? But again, if you ask me if the technical things will help you, 100%. Security specialists or source code auditors to achieve a more advanced technical role or a security leadership position. Students may face additional cybersecurity education requirements. Master's degree. These programs may require just 60 credits and take as little as 12 months. Coursework may emphasize technical literacy in network security, forensics, or hacking. Learners can also choose to focus on cybersecurity leadership, taking courses in cybersecurity auditing or business administration. At some institutions, degree seekers can pursue research oriented degrees that conclude with thesis projects. There are some organizations, some educational organizations that require a thesis. And nowadays, it's not 100% required. But in the past, I think it was. I remember when I did my master's degree. I did my master's degree in the United States, and they required me to do a thesis project. I mean, I had to solve a problem. That is what we normally do when when we test and we prove that our thesis is correct. We have to solve a problem, a particular problem, whatever problem it is in your topic that is aligned with your career. In this case, will be cybersecurity. Some schools allow students to formally specialize in cyber defense or cyber operations. Courses in cyber defense may include applied cryptography and information security and privacy. Graduates with cybersecurity master's degree can pursue employment as security engineers, cryptographers, and penetration testers. A master's degree can also prepare students for doctoral degrees in cybersecurity. I got specialized in penetration testing, as I said. That's my world, the technical world. The offensive side. I really love to create scripts to run it, and that's what I will show you at the end of this presentation. I will show you how a SQL injection attack could be. Doctoral degree. The degree requires an average of 120 credits beyond previous coursework and takes 3 to 7 years to complete. At the doctoral level, degree seekers conduct original research. You have to create something. Doctoral learners can concentrate their work in areas such as information security, machine learning, cybersecurity theory, or cybersecurity policy. A machine learning concentration, for example, generally requires courses in deep learning, advanced machine learning, and pattern recognition. Students may focus their dissertations, right? Now it's not a thesis, it's a dissertation or culminating research projects on their areas of specialization. Some computer science or technology management doctorates offer cybersecurity specialization, right? A doctorate in cybersecurity can prepare students for careers as research scientists, university professors, or chief information security officers. Now, if you ask me, do you need a degree in cybersecurity? The short answer to this question is no. At least, not technically. Boot camps and certificates can help or forge a path to career success complement degrees in related fields. Moreover, only about 20% of employers view an undergraduate degree in cybersecurity or a related field as the most important qualification for getting a job. This is one of my I can tell you this from experience. Eh, if I tell you what is my master's degree, you won't. I mean, my master's degree or the master's degree that I did is electrical engineer. I'm an electrical engineering, and I'm more focused on hardware, on how the hardware works, low level programming, assembly, and those things in electrical engineering. So if you ask me what is a relation that with cybersecurity, I can tell you that I have made some courses about cybersecurity, but most of the things that I have learned about ethical hacking, I learned it by myself. I learned it with the certificates that I got. I prepare myself for that. I attend to boot camps. I use um, resources, valuable resources, and the most important thing, and or the most valuable thing that I um that helped me a lot in on this path was the personal projects, the labs. I used to I used to create multiple labs in my weekends and sometimes after work. So I would recommend you to start practicing a little bit to find resources around the internet and start practicing. There's a lot of platforms where you can put your skills on and start practicing and create projects, create labs. For example, create a server and configure a server. Try to learn, like for example, one tool in Kali Linux that is the ethical, the I'm sorry, the hacking platform Uh, so it's not mandatory 100% to attend a university to be successful in your cybersecurity journey, right? So, how to work in cybersecurity without a degree? You can work with certifications, self directed learning. That is one of the things that I did. And internships. Internships are really valuable because companies hire you and you can learn from the experts. Let's imagine you do an internship in, I don't know, let's imagine Palo Alto. Palo Alto is one of the biggest cybersecurity companies around the world, and I can assure you that after 3 months of internship there will help you more than a couple of years in a university. Choosing a cybersecurity career path that works for you. Look, the cybersecurity job market outlook. A cybersecurity career promises a high paying role. The high demand for cybersecurity jobs, coupled with the particular skills needed for the job, practically ensures an attractive employment package. I can tell you this, and I can tell you this from experience because normally I'm the one who makes the deal with the client, and I can tell you that a penetration testing could cost from 10,000 to 30,000 US dollars, right? And could be less if it's a small organization. But just imagine charging $10,000 for just one operation, right? That could take you maybe 1 month. If the organization is huge, you can charge $20,000 for the penetration testing. And the most important thing is that you are the asset because you are the one who have the knowledge. You don't require anyone to do the job because you are the professional, right? You cost because of your professionalism, because of your education background, because of your professionalism, and because of your great training, right? So you are gonna charge that organization that amount of money because of your because of everything that you are keeping in your shoulders, right? So getting into cybersecurity. Look, this is briefly how could be a cybersecurity path, the entry level, intermediate level, and the senior level of the cybersecurity path. Entry level, we could consider the security technicians, IT auditors, incident analysis. Intermediate level, the cybersecurity analyst. That those professionals normally work on blue teams. They are in charge of the security. Some of them working help desks, solving problems because the best way to learn is at the beginning is solving problems. Cybersecurity consultants, that could be the penetration testers and the penetration testers, right? Cybersecurity consultant could be people who run vulnerability assessments to organizations to just get the vulnerabilities on the system, right? And the senior level cybersecurity administrator, cybersecurity engineers, and the cybersecurity architects, who are the ones who create and build a network. Cybersecurity roles and what is needed for each one. Becoming a pen tester. A pen tester is someone you hire to hack you, right? People hire me to hack for them, right? To check their infrastructure, to check if they have mistakes, if they have bugs, if they have problems in their network, if they have vulnerabilities in their networks, and how far I can go if I exploit them, how far I could go a malicious actor if they take control of a server, of a database, if they grab information from a data, how far they can go if I don't patch that particular vulnerability. I look at the average salary is 118K, right? 118K and could be more. I can tell you that for experience. Becoming a compliance analyst. Compliance analyst make sure the organization is up to date with government rules and industry regulations. Look, $92,000, not bad. And this work is more theoretical for people that maybe don't like programming, that they don't like the technical things like to run a script or to analyze the code and so on. So this is more focused on regulations, law, standards. They have to read a lot about cybersecurity and the regulations and the policies inside the organization that have to be aligned with the government rules. Becoming a threat intel analyst. As the name suggests, a threat intel analyst monitors potential and active threats to the organization's cybersecurity. They are people who have good attention to detail and organized and have good presentation and communication skills. Becoming a SOC analyst. SOC analyst, I like this position because I have been a SOC analyst at the beginning. Security Operation Center Analyst or SOC Analyst. Security Operations Center. The Security Operation Center Analyst monitors an organization's network security for malicious activities. They work on a defensive side. They work in a defensive side. I remember that when I was working in the Navy, when I have started my career in cybersecurity, my very first position was as a security analyst, and I thought, but by that time that was the field that I wanted. Then I turned to offensive, but at the beginning was as a security analyst. They are more like a blue team. They are in charge of the security of the infrastructure, and the salaries are really nice as well. 106K annually, and that's not bad, right? Becoming a cybersecurity engineer, right? Must know how computers and network works. These are more like, let's change a little bit the word. Instead of cybersecurity engineer, let's say network engineers, right? They understand the network. Set they setting up the network. They apply the policies in the network. They apply the segmentation in the network. They create the VLANs. They create the subnets. They understand and they have all the IP addresses in their head. Right? They are in charge of the segmentation of the organization, and that people, those professionals, work on data centers most of the time, and the average salary is amazing as well. It's 108,000 per year. Cybersecurity consultant. Become a cybersecurity consultant means having a general skill set of both analytics and engineering. It's like a hybrid, right? People who is not 100% technical, neither 100% theoretical. So they have both capabilities, and they protect their clients' networks by assessing them and suggesting plans and policies that improve security. They could work in house or be part of most of these jobs could be done from home. That is one of the beauties of cybersecurity, that provides you the freedom to work wherever you want, right? You could be, for example, I don't know, your company could be in the United States and you just need a computer. You could be in the other part of the world and you can work remotely. That's the beauty of cybersecurity jobs nowadays. Not bad, 89,000. Main skills needed for cybersecurity job. Problem solving, always. You have to figure out. You will face so many problems in your journey. You have to know how to solve these problems. You have to create a list of how you would solve a particular problem in your life, right? So after that, I know that every problem will require a different step-by-step problem solving, but definitely there's a structure and there's a way that you can create in your daily with just with your daily tasks, and you get the knowledge, and after that you apply it for your cybersecurity journey, right? As a cybersecurity professional, the problem solving will play a major role in your day-to-day work. As I said, you will face multiple problems in your day-to-day and in your cybersecurity journey. What happens if the server goes down? What is your reaction? But obviously, you need to have notes. You need to have like a guide, right? That you previously have prepared, right? That you previously have prepared, that in case of an incident or an accident, you apply that list, those notes. Technical aptitude. As the name implies, cybersecurity is a technology focused field. You will be likely be tasked with responsibilities such as troubleshooting, maintaining and updating information security systems, implementing continuous network monitoring, and providing real-time security solution. Being technological savvy is essential in order to perform the daily activities or tasks of a cybersecurity professional. Knowledge of security across various platforms. Cybersecurity is not just limited to computers. As I said at the beginning, you will need to be comfortable working on a variety of operation systems, computer systems like Windows, Linux, Mac OS, etc. Right? Mobile devices, Android, iOS, networks, wireless network, right? And keep up to date on advances in the field for all of them. Attention to details, being able to defend an organization against cyber breaches, right? We have to this job, the cybersecurity job requires a lot of concentration. You have to be concentrating your job in your daily tasks, right? When you are a cybersecurity analyst, for example, when you are a security operations center analyst or a security analyst, you have to analyze thousands of logs every day, and you have to know which log could be a potential threat or not, or just the regular ones, the daily logs that everybody generates when they click or when they try to get access, etc., etc. So it requires a lot of attention. Communication skills. Remember, you have to communicate very clear, right, to your well, it could be to your boss or with your client at the end of the day, right? You will be working closely with individuals in other roles and departments. Remember that when we work in cybersecurity, we think that nobody knows anything about security, right? So it's our job to teach them, right? For example, to teach the human resources department about cybersecurity, to program some cyber awareness training for them. That is the important part. Computer forensic skills. While computer forensics and cybersecurity are two separate fields, they are closely related, and having a foundation in computer forensics can help you excel in your cybersecurity career. To be able to effectively protect organizations' digital assets and prevent security breaches, you will need to have a solid understanding of what happens if your efforts fail and how compromised data is recovered. Most cybersecurity degrees programs will have a computer forensic component for this reason. An understanding of hacking. We have to be aware of that, right? We have to be aware of the potential threats in the cyber world. We have to be careful on what we click, on what we download, on what we upload, right? On what we share. We have to be careful in USBs. There are organizations around the world that they have zero tolerance with USBs nowadays. One of the biggest attacks in the world was provoked because of a USB. I don't know if you have heard about Stuxnet, right? Before that happened in Iran some years ago, right? A desire to learn. Yes, as with any technical field, cybersecurity is fast changing. Anyone who works in the field will need to be committed to keeping current with best practices and emerging industry trends, and will always need to be learning and self-educating both on and off the clock. Constant learning. This profession requires constant learning, professionalism, and over everything, discipline. Discipline in what you do. You have to spend time here. I mean, you are not going to become an ethical hacker or a cybersecurity professional from one day to another. That requires a lot of time, a lot of dedication, right? Well, these are some essential programming languages for cybersecurity pros. Python, that is the most basic ones that they always they always recommend you to learn Python at the beginning. It's the easiest one. JavaScript, PHP, C, C++, SQL, and Bash. If you are gonna create your own scripts in Linux, Bash is one of the things you have to learn. Believe me. How to learn the skills you need. Self study, yes. The pros, self paced, inexpensive. The cons, you need a lot of discipline. Discipline, the word that I use to stay the course could take a long time, right? So you have to be very disciplined when you want to apply the self study. Going back to college, pros, you will get a solid understanding of the basic, and the cons can be expensive. It takes a long time, from 3 to 4 years. Going to a cybersecurity bootcamp is relatively cheap. You will gain practical skills. Offers online or in-person program takes between 12 weeks of a year. And the cons are requires a strong motivation and time management skills. Takeaways: no matter your experience, you can join the cybersecurity industry if you work hard and learn the right things. Cybersecurity is a fast growing industry. All of you know that right now, right? With a huge skills gap, cybersecurity roles are high paying and in demand. Many other technical fields have skills that can easily transfer to cyber soft skills like presentation and communication skills are also important in cyber careers. Okay, so we all know now that cybersecurity uh, pays real well and in demand, and there's a huge gap nowadays in the cybersecurity field. Requires a lot of discipline, dedication, professionalism, and at the same time it would be better if we learn at least one programming language. As I said at the beginning, if you want to be a penetration tester, it's not required 100% required to learn 100% that programming language, but would be required to learn how to read the code. Hope everyone had a great time learning. Show us some love if you enjoy it. Do you want to learn cybersecurity? This is the point where I will where I will hide this. This is the point where can you see my screen, guys? Can
Yes,
you
we
see
can see
my
that.
screen?
We can see that.
Amazing, amazing. So this is the point where I would like to show you a real attack. What I do every day. No, I'm joking. I don't do this every day. So I just want to show you a real attack, a real SQL injection attack, so you can see the potential threat if we don't protect ourselves in the cyberspace. So let's open our Bingware, right? Let's open our Bingware. Okay, so let's open our friend here. Amazing. So let's open our calendar as this will be our hacking environment. So where I will show you a real SQL injection attack. Well, now that we are waiting, I will take an advantage of this time that we're waiting to tell you what is a SQL injection attack. A SQL injection attack um, is it's a malicious attack that take an advantage of the database of the target, grab information, remove at, or complete deleted the whole database if you are lucky. And that happened because of no sanitation of the environment of the web application. This is a safe. I will show you first the website that we're gonna test today. Okay, I will show you right now. Mhm. There's a website, there's a company actually that is called Acunetics. Oh, the proxy is activated. In a second, I will disactivate the proxy. I was testing something before. Okay, so there's a company that is called Acunetics. Acunetics is a company called Acunetics app. Okay, so this website, the owners of this website is Acunetics. Acunetics is a cybersecurity company that provides vulnerability scanners for web applications, for websites actually. So they have published this web application to test it. It's for practicing purposes, right? So what we're gonna do today is a simulation of a real SQL injection attack. We're gonna get inside into the database that is behind the scenes that I mean for the people that is not familiarized with these terms, every time that we send a request to a web application, to a website, actually what we do is to send a question. Hey website, can you show me this? Hey website, can you show me that? And the website responds. If I click here in artist, I will see three different artists. This artist one, I'm sending a request to the server, and the server goes to the database, and the database sends the information to the server, and the server send back the information to me. And that is how I can see the information in my web browser, right? So this is one artist. We go back. This is the second artist two. I'm sending queries to the server. right? And they have a sign app, right? They have a sign app. Obviously, as you can see here, since this is for practical purposes, they are putting here, they are showing you that the username is test and the password is test. So we know what is the username and the password, but obviously this is a practical environment. This is for practicing, but in a real world, in a real case scenario, you never see the username and the password unless that the developer has dropped it there. So what happened here? That this platform, what they want is you to get or to use some SQL injection tools, and get access into the database and see what is inside the database. So what happened if I put for it? I will open another. I'm gonna use Burp Suite. It's a web application analyzer where I can um, where I can capture the the requests or the queries that I sent to a particular web application. In this case, is this one that I show you, that is testphp.boomweb.com. So let's just wait for a second while we wait for this. I hope you have understood a little bit about cybersecurity today, and I hope you like my presentation. Let's go here. Let's setting up the proxy 8081. We're gonna use this. We're gonna get inside the database, and you will see in real time. Let's activate our proxy. Look. Now we're going to capture the request. We're going to intercept the request. We're going to capture it. Let's put whatever username, because it's supposed that we don't know. It's supposed that we don't know that the username is test and the password is test. Yeah, the purpose of this exercise is to take an advantage of the login session and get access into the database. Username admin, password admin. Boom. And I have captured the query. Now let's run an attack. SQL map. We're gonna use SQL map here. SQL map -u. Boom. HTTP. Let's copy paste this. Let's copy paste. This is the test PHP that boomweb.com slash. Let's go back here. Let's put this username PHP and data. This will be the data that we have inserted, right? And let's check. Let's see what happened. Look, no, amazing. Look at this response. This is a tool that is called SQL Map, and is for SQL injection attacks. We have here the web, and as you know, we have applied a Boolean SQL blind attack, right? That have allowed us to know that this application is MySQL. So now we know that the application is vulnerable to SQL injection attack. Look at this. The backend DVMS is MySQL. So if we know now that the application is vulnerable to SQL injection attack, let's grab all the databases that are inside. We to see all the databases inside --dbs. No, Look, we have two databases here, Acquired and Information Schema. Let's go for Acquired. That's Acquired, right? Instead of DBS, now will be D. Acquired. Now let's check the tables. No. Artists, cards, categories, features, guestbook, pictures, products, users, right? So instead of tables, now users, dash, dash, columns to check what is inside the columns. No. Name, address, cards, CC, credit cards, emails, password, phone, you name. Your name is the username. C, that is stands for columns. Your name, comma, pass, dash, dash, dump to grab the information in the database. No. Look, username test, password test. If you want the CC, the credit card, dash, dash, dump. No. Obviously, this is a fake credit card, but it's for practicing. Is for test. So look, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 2 3 0 0 9 0 0 0 0. Let's check if that is true. We forward the request. Start capturing. And now that we really know what is the username and the password, we get inside, log in, and this is the credit card that we saw here. Look, this is a database. We are inside the database. And phone number, email, and the name. Amazing, guys. I hope you like the SQL injection attacks. This is real. This happened. Be careful with that. Thank you for your attention.